Alright, this is going to be the next part onto the video, and this is going to be with the hop-up and barrel assembly. Okay, so the very first thing you're going to want to do is this spring here, you're just going to take it and remove it, okay? You just set that off to the side. Don't want to lose that, it's very important. Okay, then next step, take your large Phillips head screwdriver and unscrew the two screws, one right here and one right there. Let's do that quick. Set this part off to the side. And then next thing you're going to want to do is take your small Phillips head screwdriver and unscrew this small screw right here that's attaching the hop-up lever to the hop-up chamber. Take that on. And then it's helpful if you just leave the screw inside, and then you can set that off to the side there. Okay, now that the hop-up and barrel is free from the outer barrel, you can just take your finger and slide out the hop-up chamber. Kind of hard to get out. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, and then you can just take your outer barrel and set that off to the side. And then what you're going to have here is the hop-up chamber and the inner barrel. Now, for the hop-up chamber, to disassemble it, you're going to take your small Phillips head screwdriver and unscrew these 5 screws right here. And speed it up. Okay, so once you have the screws loosened up, you can just pop off, well, once you pop off this plastic part, you can take off the upper portion of the hop-up and leave the screws in and set that off to the side. And there'll be a part here, the bottom half of the hop-up adjustment. There's going to be a small metal piece in here. Mine tends to fall out sometimes. I don't know about yours, but you want to make sure that stays in place. Do not lose that. Very important. Set that off to the side. Now, the next thing you can do is take off the hop-up arm right here. Set that off to the side and your nub. And then you can also take out your detent right here. Keeps the BB in place while you're loading. And the spring, do not lose the spring, very important too. Then you can take off the barrel and bucking and set the lower portion off to the side. Now what you can do is you can take the Teflon tape off of here. If you've done the mod yet, if you haven't, then just skip this step. Set that off to the side. You can reuse that Teflon, it's perfectly fine to reuse. And then you can take off the bucking here just slides off. It's a bit of it's like a sleeve, and then you can take this barrel and set that off to the side. And now you pretty much have the entire hop-up taken apart, okay? Now to clean it, a good something to do to clean it is take the 2 halves, and if yours came super greasy, then wipe off all the grease and dirt. And if it's dry, then you don't really have to clean it. Just kind of clean every single part in here as you normally would, just by wiping it with paper towel, except for the hop-up bucking. A really good way to clean this is get a bowl full of warm soapy water, and what you do is you wet the bucking and then you scrub it with a soft cloth. Don't use paper towel, because the lint on it will get inside of here and it'll cause it to malfunction. So if you use maybe a microfiber or something that's super soft, that'd work the best. And then after that, you rinse it in cold water. This will put, I guess you could say, a protective coating around it, kind of thing. It locks the rubber in, so that as you're handling it afterwards, the oil from your finger doesn't transfer over to the rubber and cause the BB to be inaccurate and inconsistent. And then once you rinse it, you just let it air dry for 24 hours is the best, and then you can reassemble. So for the reassembly, you take your outer barrel and you slide the hop-up bucking back on. And what's a good way to make it align is that if you twist the hop-up bucking, keep twisting it until you'll hear a click, or it'll lock into place correctly. And then once it locks into place, and you know that you got it in there properly. Now you can take your Teflon tape that you've taken off before, or a fresh piece if you'd like, and you want to wrap it around the bucking in the barrel here. What this will do is this will provide a super good air seal around the bucking, so that when you shoot, extra air won't come out the end of the bucking, and it'll provide good consistency and maybe boost your FPS a little bit. You only want 1 or 2 wraps, so you can actually fit it back into your chamber here. So then you can take this bottom part and set it in with this rib sticking upwards, okay? And then the next part is you can take your hop-up arm and place it on this post here, like so. And then you can also take your detent here with the spring in it that you haven't lost, hopefully, and set it with this rib right here pointing to the left, so away from the barrel, and just set it in with the spring on this flat part up here. And then if you push it in and get it locked in behind this other nub, that's ideal, and that's how it fits in. And then you want to take the bottom half of the hop-up adjustment, and you want to place the bottom half underneath the barrel, but then you want this part to go over top of the bottom half of the hop-up chamber. Sorry, that little metal piece flew out. Just gotta stick it back in here. Okay, sorry about that. Remember when you stick it in, though, that you want the O-ring to rest in this little groove here properly. So I'll do that. And then you want it also to seat properly inside the like long hole over here. The D10's in. And once you got everything in place, then you can take the top part of the chamber and place it so that this opening here is on the top, so up by the hop arm. Place that on top, making sure that the detent spring is in place and that the this is seated properly as well. And then put that down, and then you can take this top part of the hop-up adjustment and place it so that this post goes right into this long groove here over top of the hop-up arm. Please. Like so. And then you also want this to seat properly on that O-ring because it has a groove as well. And then you can just re-screw everything back. Okay, and once you've got everything together, then you can take your outer barrel here and insert it so that this inner barrel goes into the barrel spacer in here. If you don't know what a barrel spacer is, it's pretty much a piece of plastic or metal that goes inside your outer barrel that pretty much centers this in the exact center so that you get like actual accuracy. And if that falls out, you just put it back in, and then you can insert this through it, through the hole in the center. And there we go. Just get past there. Okay, oops. And then you want to spin the hop-up chamber once you get it into this little window here, so that these two holes right here, I guess the front hole lines up with this hole underneath. Put that underneath, okay. And then you want to take your hop-up adjustment lever, and there's going to be two sides. There's going to be a short side and a long side. You want to take the short side and hook it around this little plastic piece right here. Like that. And then you're going to want to take your small Phillips head screwdriver and screw that in. Don't do it too tight. It really doesn't matter if it's in or not. Well, I guess it matters if it's in, but it doesn't need to be tight. And then you take this metal piece here. I'm not for sure what this is called, but you take it, and you want to have these two prongs here. You want them to seat in the far left side right here, and then this screw goes into this hole. You set that top. That, perfect. And then you take your large Phillips head screwdriver and screw them in. And then you want to take this spring right here, and you want to put it in so that there's going to be a fat end and a skinny end. You want to take the fat end of it and put it into this hole here where the screw was. Push it down, it locks all the way in, so you can kind of hear it click. And once you got that in, you pretty much just finished the VSR-10 hop assembly.